It's so exciting to get that freedom back and that power back in our lives. Now, there's a thing called negative bias. All of us have it. Our brains are wired to tell us how we need to sit back and be fearful. And several of the people before me have already touched on this, so I'm going to breeze by this, and that's what I love about truth and simple knowledge, because you're going to hear the same thing over and over again today in a different way. And you're going to hear exactly what you need to hear because you've shown up. That's what's so powerful about words. When we look to the negative, our brain will give us more negative. So if we look on our hike in the Wasatch Mountains and we see a snake, that's the number one thing we'll remember of the whole hike. Psychologists have done a lot of research on this, and it's the snake effect. 99% of us in this room, if we went on a hike, and that's what we saw, even though we had a beautiful setting, we were with our favorite company, the hike was beautiful, our number one thing that we would tell people is, but I saw a snake. Because that's what our brain does. It's to protect us. So we have to redirect, because there is going to be negative. Now, I told you I had 5 boys, and some of you might not think that's negative, and it's not. But we can relate that we all have things that don't go as planned. And I've had a lot of other things. I found myself 10 years ago full of depression, anxiety, and addiction. And I believe it was because I wasn't living the life I was supposed to. I kept pushing that to the side and watching everybody else. And there came a time that I decided, no more. And I got on my knees one day. I've always been a prayerful person. I am a Christian. And I was praying. That's how powerful words can be. And I prayed out loud and I asked God for some help. And I got a simple thought that came to me. And it was this: change your words and you can change your life. We can complain about our lives, or we can change it. And the truth was, I had the power back within me. And it had to do with the way I put words in my life. So we need to cultivate our minds, just like we cultivate the ground out there to get rid of the weeds. We have a lot of weeds in our mind. And they grow a lot faster than the positive things. The National Science Foundation has done a study that says that the average human being has between 16,000 to 60,000 thoughts a day. I would imagine most of us women, we probably have on the upwards of 60,000 thoughts. And a lot of them are subconscious. 80% of those thoughts are negative. 95% of those thoughts are thoughts that we had the day before. I mean, we just put the same thoughts on over and over again. And we don't even question them. We wake up and we talk much meaner to ourselves than we ever would to anyone else. So back to what I started out. Words can hurt us. And to start, we have to become intentional and awaken ourselves to the power of words. And then we get to step forward and create our most beautiful lives. So I told you that I'd always wanted to write a book. Not sure why. Ever since I was a little girl, I just always wanted to write a book. And over the last 10 years, I've become an expert in the power of words. And I took something that was really negative, and I've turned it into a positive. And I share about the word effect. Each one of us has one. We get to choose where we go with it. In my book, I talk about 7 words. Now, I won't touch on all 7 of them here, but it's been interesting. I've heard people already talk about the first word, acknowledge. I've heard several of the speakers talk about that. The second power word is asking. Such a powerful word. The next one is acceptance, or accept. Then abundance, and I've heard us talk about all those things. Then the power word is action, and how to take action from a place of how you feel. If you're not getting the results you want, it's because you don't have your heart aligned with your thoughts. And once you learn to do that, it keeps you moving your story forward. and then appreciate, and then aspire. And why I have the seventh word as aspire is because you know what, you guys? When you learn and you move forward, guess what? You move forward again. We are all on a journey. And I do private coaching with clients and help them take their story forward if they're wanting to increase in their business or increase. I get told every time I speak, I want to write a book too. And I bet there are several of you that have that desire, or I want to speak. And I help you learn how to step forward. So today I'm going to coach you on 3 simple words. Because I want you to see that words are your compass. They are going to direct your lives. And you get to choose the words you put on each and every day. So the first word is acknowledge. So I'm going to touch a little bit more on the one that we've already heard a little bit about. And in the book, I give you these 3 words, and I give you some simple tips that you can practice. So I won't touch on that much here, but acknowledge is to first celebrate and to shift. As I started to find the power of words in my life, I'd always wanted to start a business. So in 2015, I teamed up with my sister-in-law and we started Becoming Threads. My name's Becky, her name's Erin. We were the B behind Becoming Threads. And our tagline was, let what you wear tell your story. Neither of us had any knowledge on running a business. We had 10 kids between us, but we had a dream. And we started. As we started to do it, we learned as we went along, and we failed ahead of time. Many times. Part of growth is failure. But we have to change what our thinking is about failure. Failure is, I thought this way would work. Nope, I'm going to go this way. We would put positive messaging on t-shirts, and after a while, I had a whole closet full of t-shirts. And I could actually walk into my closet each and every day and say, what words do I need today? And I could intentionally put those words on. I could put on Keep It Simple t-shirt to remind me, because I need reminders, you guys. I know that words matter, but I forget because that negative thinking comes so fast. Well, after a while, I realized that I didn't need to have words to put on. I could just become intentional with my words. But I love reminders. So make sure you have some reminders. In the book, I have a place for you to start writing down your favorite mantras. Write down words that matter to you. I'm not going to tell you a bunch of mantras because they might not mean anything to you. But ask yourself today, what words do I need today? What words do I need to put in my life today? And I promise you, you'll find those words. A simple one that I will offer to you if you need some help, one of my favorite t-shirts, and we sold a lot of this because I think it resonates with women, is I do, I have, I am enough. So if you don't have any words to put in your life today, take mine until you find some of your own. So over time, we saw how powerful words were. But my real dream was I wanted to be a speaker. And in 2019 was when I finally acknowledged that. And I said to my sister-in-law, let's go start speaking. Let's start a podcast. And guess what? She looked at me and she goes, no. I'm not interested. Because guess whose dream it was? It was my dream. It wasn't her dream. So at the end of 2019, we decided to go separate ways. She went back into teaching. And that's when I started my journey of writing and speaking. And the way I got into it was by acknowledging it out loud. And as soon as you start to say out loud your dreams and desires, the coolest thing happens. The people and the resources and the way become clear in your life. It wasn't too long after I acknowledged it. I was at a meeting and I was on a panel about addiction. And before it started, I was pushing the furniture, helping with another lady that I did not know. And she goes, well, what do you do? And I kind of timidly said in like my quiet voice, well, I want to be a speaker and a writer. And she goes, well, I know this lady that's been doing it for 20 years. I work for her. She's here. And she just started a class. that's a 15-week course on how to write a book, get started in speaking, and be a media personality. Do you want to meet her? Yes. But I met her, and then we did a discovery call, and that was the start. So say your dreams out loud. Acknowledge them. Okay, I'm going to challenge you right now. For 30 seconds, I want you to look to your neighbor and say one dream on your heart. Now, don't let your mind go to the place of, I can't say that. Just say it and have fun. Just say it out loud. Take a minute.